Sometimes we have quantitative data like this column of IQ scores, and we'd like to sort it by the values of a categorical variable like gender, like we have here in column D. So if I wanted to split this IQ into two groups, male IQ and female IQ, this is one way of doing it. I can make two new columns. Here's one called male IQ. Here's one called female IQ. To do this, we're going to use an if command. I'll type if, I'll type equals, like I do for any formula in Google Sheets or Excel. If open parentheses, and it gives me a guide to how to use this. If logical expression, and then a value if that expression is true, and another value if the expression is false. Let's see how to apply that. In this case, let's turn off my help. If column D, the entry in column D is M, I need to use the double quotes to specify this capital M. I want to specify the value that it will report if true. In this case, the IQ that's located 1, 2, 3 columns over. And see the color coding here. I have purple C2, and I've highlighted the purple cell here. And then we'd also like to specify a value if false. The value I like to specify is called NA, not a number. And this is a function that takes no arguments. So it's capital NA, open parentheses, close parentheses, and now I close the parentheses, and it's highlighted here showing me that I've completed my if statement. So there it reports this IQ of this subject who is recorded as male gender with the letter M, and if we drag it down, as long as there's a letter M there, we get the same number that's in column C, but notice when we have a data point where the reported gender is F, we get a non-number. Now we can take a formula like this and also use it in this column, except we're going to say instead of M, we'll say F, and we're still using column C2 for IQ and NA. There are other ways to do this, but this is one method. So what you should see is that anywhere there's a number in column F, there'll be an NA in column G, and vice versa. Anywhere there's a number in column G, there's a NA in column F. We can grab those again. Remember, I bring my cursor into the little blue box and drag down, and it applies the formula. So now I have two new columns. I can make separate histograms if I want just the male IQ data points. Make a histogram. I can insert chart and obtain data that I can compare, just to be sure if you're comparing histograms that you specify the same axis values and the same bin sizes to make it easy to compare them. So in this case, I might let my data range, I'll click customize, modify my horizontal axis, minimum of 70, maximum of, let's say, 140. And for histogram, under histogram, we'll choose bucket size of, let's say, 10. We can do the same thing for this chart of female IQ scores. Bucket size of 10, horizontal axis, minimum 70, maximum 140. And now we have the data on axes that are the same for both populations, so we can make an eyeball comparison of those two populations.